Defense, defense, defense. Hi again, everybody, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com here at Paul Brown Stadium in the news conference room where Zach Taylor and Lou Anarumo sat in these chairs, well, once on Thursday night after the Dax Hill pick, as you're aware, and two more times tonight talking about defense, defense, defense. First, let's start with Cam Taylor-Britt. Look, cornerback. That's something we've talked about for months. And it was Kyler Elam, and it was Andrew Booth Jr., and it was Kyler Gordon, and it was all of these guys. And it turns out that the Bengals' plan, well, was to potentially get a cornerback in round 2, depending on how the board fell. And the best player on their board, round 1, was Dax Hill. They take him. Hopefully, you've watched all of our coverage of him. I sat down with him one-on-one. We will be releasing that after the draft, spoiler, and also that's why you should subscribe to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. But they doubled back and they got a corner. And they get a corner in Cam Taylor-Britt that just, one, he's entertaining. We'll start there. Extremely entertaining. This dude was awesome on the conference call with the media, so much so that I called our channel coordinator, Andrew Fox Miller, and I'm like, hey, Andrew, we got to take this audio and we got to make it a video for our Cincinnati Bengals Talk viewers. I know it's not a video. It's not a Zoom. We can't make it that way. We're not going to be able to do it. It's just audio, but we have to get it out there because he was really, really good. Showed off his personality. And that's the thing is this dude, you could feel how competitive he was. He talked about how he's not afraid to hit anybody. He doesn't care how big you are. He can't wait to go up against a T. Higgins and a Jamar Chase in practice because he's going to get better. And the Bengals clearly liked him. And he's got good size. You know, he's close to 5'11", 190. Good length, over a 75-inch wingspan, ran a 4.38 40-yard dash, which is a common theme. The Bengals drafting high-end athletes that have high relative athletic scores, and I'll get to who they took in round 3 in just a second, Zachary Carter, the defensive tackle out of Florida. But I want to talk a little bit more about Cam Taylor-Britt because cornerback was such a big topic, and I've actually seen some of you debating on here about the pick. And the Bengals moved up. They gave up their 6th-round pick, which was 209th overall, I believe, sent it to the Buffalo Bills, and the 63rd pick for the 60th pick. But they got their guy. And that's the thing is I feel like the Dax Hill pick, they're like, my God, he's clearly the highest player on our, highest graded player on our board. Let's take him. And he's going to be such a valuable piece to our defense. And then they take a guy in Cam Taylor-Britt, who they brought in for a visit. The visit went great for him. They said they loved him. They've done a ton of research on him, loved his competitiveness, his athleticism, his ball skills, said he had really good ball skills on tape. And you read about him, that's about where he should have gone, is around the 60th pick. He was Dane Brugler's 57th ranked player, the 8th ranked corner. And so you get him. And the other thing that the Bengals were clear about really throughout this process, even with Dax Hill, but certainly today with Cam Taylor-Britt, and then also with Zach Carter out of Florida, they are not looking for starters necessarily. And so they want to take the best player available, the highest graded player on their board. And so they weren't going to reach for a corner at 31 hoping that he would start. They're going to take the guy that they think can have the biggest impact and also has the highest upside and all of those things because the starting lineup's pretty filled out. And if you watch Cincinnati Bengals Talk regularly, I tried to make that a point. I tried to say, look, Eli Apple is probably the starting corner regardless in 2022, certainly in week 1, barring injuries and all of that. And obviously the Bengals want depth. And so I think that's part of what the Cam Taylor-Britt pick is as well. But former quarterback and wide receiver turned corner. He's got experience, and this is the other theme, outside of speed, versatility. He's played safety, he's played outside corner, he's played nickel. But no, I think that this was a really solid pick. I'm not going to grade him. I'll grade them all at the end of the draft when I can really digest it because, let's be honest here, it is a whirlwind during the NFL draft. But solid pick, versatile, fast, speedy, and he ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. Oh, what did Dax Hill run? Oh, funny you should ask, 4.38. I asked Cam Taylor-Britt because he was talking about how competitive he was, if he wanted to race Dax Hill and if he would be up for a race. Guess what? The only way you're going to find out that answer is if you go to the conference call and listen to it right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I can't give you everything. I can't give you every nugget here on this video. That's why you got to go listen to the conference call. It is worth your time if you haven't yet. That being said, let's talk about Zach Carter, because that's the other point, at least on social media. It was like, all right, they took a corner after a safety. What are they going to do at defensive tackle? And I thought this pick was going to be Rapien out of Oklahoma. They had visited with him. He clearly was a 3-tech, brought the juice as an edge rusher, had a second, third round grade. I thought he might go 63rd. They traded up. I thought maybe he'd be 60th. Then he fell all the way to 95. And the things we don't know mostly is medicals. It's a hard thing to predict, hard thing to guess. It's not like we have access to any of that. And maybe that's why he was still on the board when the Bengals were on the clock at 95. But they go with Zach Carter, 6'4", really good size, and a guy that played end, that played on the inside as well at defensive tackle, 3 technique, 5 technique at Florida, had 8 sacks, 11 tackles for a loss, led the team in a couple of those categories. And to me, it felt like a reach. You look at Dane Brugler's draft guide, he was a 6th rounder. You look at some of the others on NFL.com, it was a 4th rounder. But that's the thing, is you're drafting at the end of the 3rd round. It's basically a 4th rounder. And I think what the Bengals liked is his versatility and his athleticism. His relative athletic score, I have it right here as my computer went dark. He tested as an 81 percentile defensive tackle. He ran a 4.99 40-yard dash, his 10-yard split, so that initial burst was in the 95th percentile, that first 10 yards, under 2 seconds, 1.68 seconds. Had a really good 3-cone drill, 7.3 seconds in the 90th percentile as well. So that's what they're getting. They're getting these athletes that have the production to back it up. In all 3 phases, all these guys have produced at the college level. They're high-end athletes, and they're going to bank on them to play their role. When I said they're not going to start, that doesn't mean they're not going to play. I think Cam Taylor-Britt is going to get on the field right away. Lou Anarumo talked about Zachary Carter, going to play that 3-tech position right away. And while they didn't say, yeah, he's replacing Larry Ogunjobi, I think their hope is he can help replace Larry Ogunjobi and bring some of that juice with a young rookie that can come. He's 23 years old. I don't mean young as an age. He's almost old for a rookie. He just turned 23, so it's about right. But still, come in and produce. And he certainly did that at Florida his last year. And so all of these guys have production. All of these guys seem like elite athletes, and they're all versatile. He played end at Florida. He played on 3 technique and 5 technique. 3 technique, you're lining up outside the guard, and, man, you're getting upfield, and you're trying to get after opposing quarterbacks in a lot of situations. So I'm not sure what it was with Rapien. That's the beauty of the draft. And it's not like you're going to ask them that, because they're not going to give you anything. If you bring up a name, they're not going to say anything. That being said, clearly the Bengals had a plan to attack defense. They weren't going to force it. Dax Hill was how is this guy still here? I know for a fact he was the top player on their board, and they didn't expect him to be there. And the fact that he was there, and is it 15th? Is he 15th on their board? Is he 18th? I'm not going to ask that, but I think he was pretty damn high. I don't think he was 27th and Andrew Booth was 28th. I don't think he was 25th and Kyler Gordon was 27th. I don't think it was that close. And so when it's not that close, you take the guy. And I felt like clearly they wanted Cam Taylor-Britt. That's a guy they had honed in on. They liked his personality. They liked his makeup. And then you get a guy in Zachary Carter who was really productive at Florida, is versatile, and can really help out in a bunch of areas alongside B.J. Hill, DJ Reader, and Josh Tupou. So it's exciting time. Defense. Who knows? Maybe we'll see Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan tomorrow sitting right here where Lou Anarumo sat for 3 news conferences introducing Dax Hill, Cam Taylor-Britt, and Zach Carter. If you missed any of it, we have it all right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. That's why you come here. That's why you should hit that subscribe button. That's why you should ring the bell and refresh and look at all of our videos, because there's a lot that we've put up that we did not notify, because you only get so many notifications, and we don't want to use them, not waste it. We don't want to use them on certain things and then not push out these videos where we're wrapping up the entire day. So hopefully you've enjoyed our coverage thus far. Allbengals.com is the place to go to fill in the cracks, because there's a lot of different stories and stuff that I can write, get it up quicker than doing videos on all the little tidbits. I will react more to this It is worth noting, though, that Jonah Williams, they did pick up his fifth-year option. So I'll talk more about that this coming week. We're focused on the draft right now. So there's, a few topics that we will tackle, certainly. But focused on the draft right now. Hopefully you've enjoyed all of our coverage. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Andrew Fox Miller has been killing it, our channel coordinator. So shout out to him. And until, Saturday, when it's rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7, the Bengals did trade that 6th round pick. So they have a pick in round 4, pick in round 5, and 2 7th rounders. We'll see if they make any moves. You could certainly see them. Maybe you can package both 7th rounders and move up a little bit into the late 6th round. You never know. So we'll see if they do that. Regardless, we're going to have you covered right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. That's it for now. I'm James Rapien, signing off at Paul Brown Stadium.